guys, Action coming at you today in Fateless Godforge, to be precise. I am joined by none other than Simon, aka Hell Hades. Simon, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm in an exciting part of my life right now. Game dev, building a game. It's like got to the point where it feels like a game. It's active. It's ready. So yeah, I'm doing really well, man. Doing really well.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I wanted to have you on. I mean, obviously we chat behind the scenes a lot, but it's been a hot minute since I've had you on this channel on a collab. And I think one of the last times was talking about this game like 6 months, maybe a year ago. Sure. Kind of in a like, there's a lot of hype around this game, rightfully so. There's so many awesome individuals involved in this project. You have this all-star roster of developers and artists and storytellers and everything, but kind of like the hurdles, the challenges, and the real possibility, just like any startup, that you might not even get to an alpha someday. There's a lot of challenges, but yet here you are, man. You've gotten to alpha, and they've got a bunch of initial feedback from the friends and family, and we're seeing the game. You can see some of the champions in the background as well, and we'll have a lot of visuals for you guys. But I figured we could today kind of catch up. Where are things now? Where are things heading? So I'm going to hand the mic back to you, Simon. Like, how does it feel to be in alpha? And there's still time, by the way, for you guys to sign up the last wave.
Yes. So basically, we're going to do 3 waves of alpha from like next week. So it's coming real soon. The first 2 waves, the people have already got the invites out, and we're kind of like, yeah, we're ready for you guys to come in and get involved. And the alpha really is about, did we find the fun? Do the systems feel good? Do the heroes kind of like feel like they've got interesting kits and interesting combinations of squads? So yeah, 2 waves kind of like already signed up. And then the 3rd wave, which is also going to be like a competition wave. If you think a bit like the Hell Hades free-to-play type of contests, we're doing it a bit like that. So that's going to be the final wave where people can actually still sign up for that and get involved if they want to come in and play the game. But really for us, it's like play testing. It's like, did we find the fun? Do we have interesting systems? Have we hit a lot of the quality of life things that we wanted to hit? And do you have a blast playing the game? That's the main thing. So
absolutely. And it seems like the initial friends and family round of kind of the first pre-alpha wave, so to speak. Talk to us a little bit about the early feedback that you guys have had on the game so far.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, overwhelmingly positive, I'd say, right? So this is the cool thing. Like, people really enjoying the characters from different mythologies. Yes. There's this kind of like real feel-good moment when you pull the legendary, or you pull the legendary weapon to go alongside the legendary that you've got. There's a whole bunch of like cool stuff which links these different mythologies. And so, yeah, we found the fun. People are enjoying the combat. And I'll show some of that in a sec on the video here. But there's definitely some stuff where it's like these areas could be improved, Yeah. And a lot of it, thankfully, were things which we just haven't got in the game yet. So, for example, upgrading a hero, there's some quality of life stuff that we are definitely going to add in, where you could do like a mass upgrade of food type champs. But as it is right now, the systems are working. We've got this kind of like cool spirit system where you can earn drops of spirits during your combat. So I could actually just kind of like quick level Drac up here, as long as I've got the resources. Yeah, super fast, right? And one click quality of life kind of stuff like that is in. But there's just some elements which we just haven't managed to get in yet for the alpha. So a good example is like this Ascension screen. It looks super bad. It's complete placeholder, but it does the job of what it's meant to do. You get the stats, you get the stuff. It just doesn't look great and feel great yet. So there's a bunch of stuff in that sense to improve. But yeah, I mean, overall, like, the feedback has been great. We've been able to already do a ton of like bug fixing from that feedback anyway. And we're kind of like super ready actually to move on to Alpha Wave 1.
It's pretty incredible. It's testament to you and the team, because I mean, I'm just going to be real. I think we spoke about this a little bit on our first chat about Godforge, but I've seen not a million, but I've seen maybe a half a dozen, let's say, to be a million and a half a dozen creators launch their own games. And I've seen them just continuously not even get to a point where there's any product to show. I'm not talking alpha, I'm not even talking a demo. So I'm curious, before we kind of dive into how you guys are executing alpha, how you're dealing with the community, the differences, maybe a little bit of comparisons to the raid experience, because that's what most of my viewers are familiar with. Before we dive into that, I want to ask you, now that you've gotten this far in the process, it's been years, we're here, alpha is live. What has been the biggest challenge, and what's one thing maybe that you didn't expect to have to encounter when making a game from scratch?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and actually you're right. Most games don't launch. Like this stat was crazy to me. Like 95% of games never launch. And if you think about, for me, I'm like, hold on a minute. How many games are like nearly finished that just get binned because they run out of cash, or
there's so many
community didn't happen, or
whatever
it is for those games. So I think we're in a really great position that we were able to get enough cash through the door in terms of investment to be able to deliver what we want to deliver. Like, it's not just can you make a game. We're trying to make a game which is actually pretty complex. There's a lot of systems, there's a lot of characters to make. That's quite pricey to do. All of them need their own animations and all that type of stuff. So I guess for me, coming at this now, over 2 years on, is quite surprising how challenging it is to just take, one character from start to finish, let alone, and by that I mean mood board, concepting, 3D, VFX, sound effects, their weapon, like all of these things, and then
do they animate properly, and the synergy and the balance and all that.
Yeah, there's so much to it, and obviously we're looking to launch our full game with over 200 heroes for our game. So for us, it's really important to have that variety, the balance, the economies, all those things, and you basically need a specialist for all of these areas. We've got well over 30 people working on the project day in, day out. And I think, from 2 years ago to today, probably the biggest challenge has been finding those right people that are in for the long haul, that really get the vision, that understand the genre, and bringing them onto the team. And we've done that piece by piece, honestly, to a point now where, you said it earlier, we've got people working on the project that are literally worked on some of the most insanely popular games.
Yeah.
In the RPG space as well, from Marvel Strike Force to EverQuest, Star Wars Galaxies, even some of the animators, like animators that worked on films, like Space Jam, and
my god, dude, you're speaking
really cool,
nostalgia.
Experiences.
What a cool position to be in to build your all-star roster, though. It also speaks to the ability of you guys. I'll give a few shout outs, but we've had Sham here on the channel before. We've had Dan Fiction. I'm not sure if we had him on the channel, but certainly you guys know who he is. One of the guys behind co-owners of hellhades.com. And then yourself, of course, as founders. But then in addition to that, you have so many dedicated people. You have Saf and Chosen and Susie and Henrique, my thumbnail artist, right? So a lot of people that people are familiar with in the community who are really passionate in to make any startup, Simon, you really need a certain amount of just passion and willpower.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just the intelligence and the skill, to be able to execute.
Especially so for a startup, building something that's as big as this. I mean, you just have to have that because it is full on every day. Doing things like raising money to be able to actually do these things. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Unsexy stuff that nobody talks about. Everybody's like, I want to design a video game. And then you're like, go fundraise.
Yeah, so it costs a ton of millions, literally millions of dollars to be able to build a game that's this complex. And I mean, we're so thankful.
How much you guys have raised? I'm not sure if that's a taboo thing to ask.
We're actually just doing a press release at the moment, but in total, after this fundraising round, we would have raised $14 million. It's serious cash, honestly. It's serious cash,
man. It's insane.
Which again, we're so honored for people to have that sort of, I guess, passion behind our project and to put in those sort of levels of cash where, obviously they're taking a punt on us, honestly. Like they think we've got something, they can see the community is thriving and energized and really believe in what we can do. And we obviously want to pay that back in terms of just delivering an awesome game. Like a game that just people love to play. That's the dream. So
absolutely. Well, you have the Cavern of Chaos on the screen right now. So let's talk a little bit about the alpha. What you guys are doing for the alpha, incredibly unique. Basically, it's a cavern. I want to say 150 floors. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we've got 150 floors, and then a final floor, which is going to be like unlimited damage. So basically, bring your best comps to take on Fafnir, who's the final boss.
I love it. So it's kind of restricted in terms of, I saw some of the early feedback about I would like this experience or this or that, but this is by design kind of restrictive. And I heard Sham talk about it on one of your Faithless podcast, and he basically said that you guys are looking to start slow and kind of tier out the cavern, right? Progression. Start super slow, just get people familiar with the way the game works, the mechanics, and then I think when you get to the last tier, things really start to open up and you get more of the breadth of the full experience of the game. And he also said that he expects around 5%, give or take, to actually complete it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly that.
That's a good challenge. I hear that and I think, ooh, that's a challenge there.
we did the friends and family wave out of about 100 players. 3 people got to 151. And there was a lot of people in that kind of like floor 80 up to about 100, 120. So in terms of where we think different floors are in the game, it's kind of like first 30 floors is really the early game. It's understanding mechanics. You're sort of getting a team built out. You then move between that kind of like 30 probably to 90 is the mid game, where you start to really get some epics on your roster. You start to get some gear, start to understand what the weapons do. And then really sort of 90 to 120 is towards the late game, where you're starting to get legendaries in the roster. You're able to sort of start to do a bit of min-maxing on your gear. You're getting people up to level 60. And then the final kind of 30 floors and then the final floor, it really just kind of like opens out. A lot of people had 4 or 5 legendaries in a team. They got dupe legendaries to be able to empower them even further, and we want people to have fun playing the caverns. Like, there's no spending here. It's not about some sort of cash grab. It's actually a competition, but we're also testing a lot of the systems in the game. So each floor really is like, okay, I might choose to farm here because that's where I can farm gear, or I might farm here because I want to farm weapons, or I might try and get more heroes on my roster, so I'm going to farm this floor. And it's just kind of like, for us, it's understanding where are people just deciding to try and gain more power, and as I said earlier, like, are people enjoying the combat and the feel of the game?
Absolutely. And it's interesting too. It's like, I understand why you guys made this decision, but it's also kind of not a shame, because again, it's understandable and I agree, but there's so much storytelling, and like really the lore is so rich. I'm not normally a lore guy, but the way that you kind of bring together all these worlds and all these different mythos, so to speak, is really cool. So I think that once you layer that on top of the core that we can experience a little bit here, you can see some of the actual gameplay in the background. I think people are going to be blown away, Talk a little bit about that storytelling element that's coming. Will that be in beta, or that will just be full launch, do you think?
It will be in beta for sure, yeah. So, I mean, we've got Aaron on the team who's basically running our sort of narrative and lore. And he's doing that with Mike. And the two of them, basically, they've worked for huge companies. They've got a massive amount of experience. So Aaron was working on New World, did a lot of the work for Amazon there. Mike has worked for Riot, working on League of Legends cutscenes and Valorant cutscenes, and he's done a lot of work before that as well in other companies. And the two of them have just got such a good take on how this stuff should work. So we've got these cutscenes which will basically be telling the story through campaign, and the visual style. So when people play the alpha, they will see one of the cutscenes as it's kind of like entry to the game. They've just got such a great visual style. A lot of people in this genre just skip anything to do with lore or storytelling. I don't think we'll see that many people skipping it. Like, it's just these kind of like 1 minute hits, and obviously we've got really cool, interesting characters here from these different mythos, and we're trying to make sure that we get as many different kind of like story trains in as we can to just be interesting. But
and I think there's a more natural and I would say authentic tie-in to the actual game experience with the story too. Meaning that, like, why is it called Godforge to begin with? You learn that, and you learn about the mechanics of the game through the story, versus I feel like a lot of stories just are kind of just totally independent to the gameplay. In a lot of games.
And for us, story's going to be really important. Like, we really want to have like seasonal based updates where story becomes crucial to those updates. So a new season drops with some new characters, whoever the sort of main character to either collect through some sort of method, whether it's a fusion or whether we do like a world boss or whatever we're going to do. We want a story to kind of revolve around that character, and then others which kind of like complement them. So I mean, I think it will end up driving people that enjoy those RPG elements in bite-sized chunks. We're not looking to kind of drown people in story, but people enjoy that type of feel. I think they'll get a real good kick out of it. And as I say, it's not overwhelming like I've seen in some games where it's very like click the screen, read the screen. As is all voiced, it's all kind of more interactive, I guess. So people can enjoy it without feeling like they need to read a book or something.
Yeah, for sure. So we're seeing obviously like a lot of gameplay and stuff in the background at this point. Do you I'm going to ask you probably a question that would be probably, if I had no idea anything about the whole story behind Godforge and Fateless and how it came to be. I guess my viewers would probably ask the most obvious question is, okay, so I've been playing Raid for a long time. I've invested a lot of money into Raid, a lot of time certainly into Raid. why would I give your game a shot if I didn't know you, if I didn't have the Hell Hades brand and the website and the creators behind it, What do you think? And again, I know from our last conversation, you said your goal has never been to make a better version of Raid or to compete and kill Raid. But as somebody who is, already investing a lot of time into this sort of genre, what do you think are some of the differentiators, or what comes to your mind first?
Yeah, so I think, and there'll be plenty of comments already down below that say it just looks like it's the same game. We're definitely in the same genre, right? So it's a turn-based hero collector. We're using a lot of the kind of like core mechanics from this genre, like affinity systems and, the ability to collect gear and all that type of stuff. So there's some core systems where we just don't really want to change it and we think it works, but we do want to freshen those things up. So I think areas like our weapon system with the ability to imprint almost like the essence of a hero onto a weapon and gain their passive skill. So if I look at a weapon here, for example, so we've got the Aten of Musashi. The reason why it's of Musashi is because it's actually imprinted with Musashi's essence. And so if I was to get a dupe of a rare or above hero, I could either convert them into an imprint, and therefore I'm basically giving my weapon a new passive, which is the passive of that hero, or I could win an imprint from like an event. So it might be, as part of like a battle pass, the main reward might be like the imprint of Odin, for example. So there's a lot more sort of customization around this type of thing to really unlock some really interesting combos. I think we brought in a lot of quality of life stuff, which people will just appreciate anyway. Which we think is just taking the best from the genre and taking it to the next level. But I think a lot of the real innovation probably won't even be seen in the caverns. It will mainly be seen in our full launch, where we have a really interesting roguelike coming in.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
We've kind of like normalized PvP coming into the live, where there's no kind of like pay to win method there. It's just skill and knowledge. Our kind of like seasonal based content, where basically we're going to have campaign extending based on the season. So there's like new stories which kind of like drive you into sort of new areas of content. At least kind of like every hero's got an alignment between order and chaos. So there'll be kind of like towers which align to order and chaos, and there'll be kind of different modes to be able to utilize your heroes really well like that. So I think there's a lot we do which will just like really refresh the genre. Even PvP, having a seasonal approach to PvP where certain groups of heroes will be empowered in a certain way just for PvP, and others will be almost like diminished. So it's like, okay, well, this group's in the gates of hell. They've lost certain elements. These have been ascended to Olympus or whatever it is, and therefore they're basically enhanced, which just kind of keeps a rotating meta coming through. So yeah, I think it's mainly in game design, honestly, but it is a hero collector. It is turn-based. There's a lot of familiarity in it as well. Of
course, which is cool. I mean, there's a million games that come out every year. But I think that too, that the one thing that everybody mentions and it's weird in my line of work, right? On the marketing side, for mobile games in general, I've actually gotten a few newer studios and even some veteran studios saying, "Hey, are you familiar with like what the Fateless guys are doing?"
Oh, really? Yeah.
Especially on the community side. We actually had one mention this, I think, yesterday. So it's very fresh in my mind. But especially with what you guys are doing in the community, both with the podcast, with Brad and all you guys joining, and a lot of the team. You get to meet the team, you get to see the entire journey, and this has been going on for 2 years. And you look at your Discord, you look at how vibrant the prospective player base, because it's not even like it live yet. It does feel like there's an energy around the community, which I think, there's obviously, it's nice to have a community. It's cool to have that before the games launch. But it also, I think there's something like palpable about the enthusiasm that everybody has. And you can see this, I guess, before big hype launches. But it seems a little bit different. It seems like the player base. And I guess I say all that big, long ramble to say that you guys are also focusing heavily on the social aspects of the game, both in-game and out the game. Like I heard some ideas internally. I'm not sure if they'll be at launch, but you're incorporating things like Discord and communication and the ability to communicate with more than just your clan. Like if you have a clan cluster or a clan family. So I think you guys are thinking a lot. I'm sure it goes well beyond that, the social aspects, but I think you're thinking a lot about how we play together and how there's a lot of stickiness.
You know what? In fairness, like in all that talking, I didn't even touch on it, and it's one of our biggest things, which is crazy. Like, pantheons are really important to us, and making sure that there's a lot of game modes where you tie different groups of people people together. It's really important to us as well. So I talked briefly earlier about a world boss. Well, that world boss will be your pantheon potentially teaming up with a couple of other pantheons to try and take down a boss that kind of like drops as an event. And for us, a pantheon is kind of one thing, but then there's a lot of clusters that form in this type of game, and we want for there to be social interaction between a cluster of pantheons as well. So, cool, the ability to promote or demote through those pantheons, the ability to share builds, the ability to share pieces of gear or whatever, that type of thing we just want to be very easy to achieve and in-game as much as possible. And then, as you say, things like the Discord integration we're working on right now. So how do we make sure that the chats feel just really fluid, I guess, not needing to go externally for a lot of the different ways to plan or collate or chat. So there's a lot of work going into that side of things. Some of those things honestly might not even come in for our launch, but there'll be kind of like roadmap to come in after. It just depends. We have a long laundry list of things that we want to do, and it's kind of like, well, we need to get to a point where we release a game. The alpha test is obviously a big part of that. Yeah,
you can't have everything.
But it'll just be slowly kind of like added in over time. So
and that's nice too, because you don't want you really don't want a product that feels finished on launch, because then you have nothing to give the player base, right?
And even some of the things that we want to do. So we've got a really cool idea on this kind of like wandering merchant. Okay, so the wandering merchant comes into town, and then suddenly it's like, crap, he's got this weapon that everyone's been after. He's got Mjolnir or something, and you're like, damn. We want there to be a bit of a buzz from the community around the merchant's arrived. He's got these 3 things. He's only here for 3 days. Basically, people spreading that word. You need to get in game. You need to come and visit him, and perhaps you'll get tokens from the world boss to be able to spend with the wandering merchant, stuff like that. So just integrating these different systems together to make it feel more connected. One thing which won't actually be in for alpha as well, which is a super fun system, is going to be our mastery and achievement system. So really going out and hunting for masteries that you want because it's your play style. So it might be, for me, I really enjoy leveling my heroes up. So I'm going to go and farm a bunch of masteries which improve the rate that I get experience, increase the speed, the experience, helps level my dudes, and maybe get more drops of kind of like Aether Stones, which is kind of like our shard system. And you might be someone who loves PvP and goes in a more kind of like, okay, I need to get the highest damage based masteries, and that's how I'm going to equip my guys. So once you've earned an achievement which unlocks a mastery, any of your heroes on your account would be able to use that mastery. So it's kind of like, I really love that, targeted farming, and some of them are kind of like just kind of like listed out. This is what you need to do. I need to go and fight Fafnir 500 times to unlock this thing, or I need to hit him for this much damage. But others, which we're calling like mayhem masteries, will just be unlocked by a moment, and you might be the first person that's ever discovered that mastery, and it'll come as a big kind of like talked about in game, and you'll be able to sort of share
the history of Godforge forever. Your name will be etched.
So I think there's some fun stuff like that. We really want it to be a community based game where interaction feels fun, and there's
No, I love that. It feels like you've taken some of the best or taken inspiration on some of the best things that you've seen in the hero collector genre, in roguelite type games, as well as in maybe kind of even MMORPG, right? Taking some elements out of all of those and trying to put them together into a product that feels relatable but fresh, right? Yeah,
that's it. So we've all played so many different games and genre of games, and it's just like, where have we had the most fun? And a really good example is actually a game you'll know really well, like Clash of Clans. I had tons of fun playing Clash of Clans, especially their kind of war system. So for me, that was one of the best social interactive systems for a clan I've ever experienced in a game. And it probably made me play the game for several years longer than I would have done, because it was like, hey, we need you for war, and I'm kind of like picking off 2 of the top 3 or something with my 2 clans that I've got in. It was fun. I really enjoyed that stuff. So it's just like just picking parts of different games or different experiences that we've had. It's like, how do we try and use that so that we create something really fun in Godforge.
I love it, and it definitely resonates with me too. I think that clan wars and Clash of Clans back in the day, just similar to you, like I kind of got over building my village and stuff, and that's what kept me going for years and years, those sticky factors. So it's so cool that you have so many of those incorporated, some of those, again, inspiration at least, incorporated in this game. Do you, I guess my final question that I have for you at least, Simon, is do you have a favorite character that you can share on this build? I'm not sure if you have them, like,
Yeah. Oh, it's a tricky one. So, damn. So I've got one. She's not animated yet, which means she's just standing in a T-pose. But I'm going to share her anyway because this is Baba Yaga.
Ooh.
So when she's properly animated, she's going to be
who came
inside.
up with this name, man? That's what I want to know. Who came up with the names? Who names your heroes?
So these are all, I mean, basically
so every single name, even the common or with the lowest rarity are somewhat from some mythos somewhere.
Yeah. So the way we've done it, so commons and uncommons are generally like a type of almost like a soldier.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So a berserker or a Spartan. And then from rare upwards, we start to get named heroes from legends. So Ulfdednar, Vidnar, Guan Yu. So it's all names from these different mythos.
It is so cool. It's so cool to have a blend of all these real life mythologies that some people will be experts on. Some people I can already see myself. Like, I want to see what the freaking Baba Yaga. I want to know about that mythology. You know.
I mean, we got some cool creatures as well. So I think this is one of the things which we're kind of bringing in, and we really wanted was like some creatures that feel big and daunting on the battlefield. That's quite tough to do because obviously you've only got so much space to work with. But like Quetzalcoatl here, we've got Ydragok, which is
you can pronounce that one, Simon.
That's the best I've done it so far, but I probably still got it wrong. But just like have a dragon on your team. So cool. It's super fun, man. Like,
well, I know originally you guys had thought about having a class of character that basically took up like 2 characters on your team. So maybe a dragon is so big and fearsome and powerful that let's just say it wasn't going to work exactly like this, but let's just say hypothetically you can normally have 5 champions on your team. You can only have 4 because they take up 2 spots. They're that powerful. But you moved away from that, but you've still been able to kind of encapsulate some of the ferocity or the presence of some of those characters as well.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so we really wanted to keep that in some way, but it I mean, it proved, I don't know, we would have had to make the 2 space heroes so strong to make it worth taking up 2 spots. And what you don't want is like, okay, well, if you got that one in, they get a turn, do they just one-shot everyone? Like, it was just, it was really hard to do, honestly, to make it work well. So we ended up going in this direction.
The box, though, right? It's like,
we're just like, how do we make it fun? Like, we really wanted creatures to feel impactful and big. Like, the dragon in battle really feels like menacing and big on the battlefield, and really hits hard. But you then therefore, so it's not a 2 space hero. So okay, well, we need to tone down some of the speed and play with some of the other stats to make sure that it's not just overpowered, but you do want some of those like really strong heroes in anyway.
I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed that you didn't choose Hades as your favorite.
Well, I mean, Hades has been in the game for so long now. It almost goes up. But I mean, still a super sweet design.
For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the most rewarding things for me. I see the different artwork come through, and it's just like off the charts. We've just had Lilith designed. Oh my God. It's so good. Like, our artists are, for me, like, absolutely insane. They're so good.
It must be so cool to see it from concept to in-game, to see the whole process, something that no one really gets to do in most games. It's got to give you like almost a different personal connection with the characters, Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
and
cool.
I honestly think, now we're in a point where we're sort of moved into kind of like alpha state, which means there's still a lot of polish to do. There's still going to be some clipping stuff going on. There's still going to be some changes to shaders and lighting, but I do think we're already in a point where we stand up against a lot of the games that are out there in the genre in terms of like the quality of the visual. And there's still clipping and stuff, we know, but the thing is, this is all really easy to fix. This is not something we need to fix for alpha because it's so low in terms of priorities, versus actually fixing functional stuff and that sort of thing. But I mean, I think and I'm obviously a bit biased, but I think we've got a really good kind of like visual style. It is our own style.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. I agree, man. It's not. It's come a long way too, and it's still just alpha.
Exactly. Yeah.
What you see right now. Speaking of alpha, so you said the last wave is available for folks to get in. Is that limited?
So we're actually opening it up to anybody that wants to come in. It's cross-platform. So we've got it set up on iOS, Android, PC, and Mac.
Great.
The only limitation we've got is actually the number of iOS players that we can have, and that's like a developer thing. You can't have more than 10,000 playtesters through their kind of like development process, which is called test flight. So
test flight. Yeah, very familiar.
Yeah, that's the only sort of limitation we've got. But really, we wanted to put this alpha out as part of. Yeah, we're testing the game, but also it's like a thank you to the community for backing us this far. So we want you to come in, play it, share your feelings about it. And obviously we'll take that and try and improve for when we go into beta and then launch. Okay,
so when do they have to sign up till for alpha by? What's the deadline?
Yeah, so really, I'd say it would have to be by mid-August to be able to get in for the final wave.
Okay.
So basically we've got Alpha 1 already locked in, starts on the 23rd of July. There's about 100 content creators that are going to be putting out content. So if people come to the Fateless Discord, you'll see a whole bunch of people starting to post content if you want to just check it out and see how it feels. We have then a 10-week wave of playing, another week of kind of like bug fixing, and then we go into Alpha 2, same process again. And then Alpha 3 actually drops in September. So it's a little bit of time still if people are like unsure whether they want to give it a go. Like you got until sort of mid-August or so to sign up. Yeah, we got close to 50,000 people signed up for that, which is really
amazing. What a great. I mean, we talk to developers all the time, and nobody has. Everybody's looking for alpha and beta play testers. Not you guys. You guys have no issues there, which is awesome to have all that feedback. Yeah.
One funny thing, we put out a survey to people that had signed up for the alpha originally, and we're just asking like, what's some of your favorite games you've played? What do you like about this genre? Like a whole bunch of questions. And we've had someone join us recently who was ex-Scopely, was like head of product at Netflix for a line, and he was like, I cannot believe the return rate of these surveys. Like it's like I've never been in a company where you get this sort of response rate, and people that started the survey, like 99% of them finished it, like actually completed the survey. It's like a 20-minute survey, so it wasn't nothing.
No, and, of course.
He's like, honestly,
to something, right?
He's like, honestly, I would have had to pay literally like probably 100K to get this much data back from previous roles. And it's just a testament, again, to the enthusiasm, the amount of people in the community that really want to help, and that's what, we're really pleased with.
Absolutely, man. Well, credit to you, massive credit to you and the entire team. Do you expect beta by the end of 2025, or I know there's nothing public on that yet, but.
So the expectation is beta by end of 2025. We had aspirations to soft launch before the end of the year, which I think we're still going to be able to do. And probably then full launch early into next year. But people that are along for the ride in terms of community people will be invited into the soft launch. So and soft launch, I guess the difference between a soft launch and a full launch, it's just a slightly reduced feature set. So we might be soft launching just to make sure that we're opening up dungeons, we're opening up the tower, we're opening up the kind of like Pantheon boss, all those type of things will be in, and we have this kind of like list of must be in before we soft launch, and then here's like the next set of releases before we go into sort of full launch. So so we've got it well planned out, well mapped out. But it's
all right, man. Well, hey, sounds great. My final question, just out of curiosity, are you gonna switch to Godforge on your raid channel? Are you gonna try to cover raid and Godforge side by side? Are you gonna start a new channel? What are your personal content plans?
Yeah, it's I've been asked this a few times, and I don't really know the answer yet. So and the reason for it, so I think I will. I mean, I'll definitely do some coverage of it for sure.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't know how people will feel about someone who's developing the game also putting out how here's a guide for this, and then I don't know if people will just be like, oh, of course you know that because you made the game. And then let's be clear, like I'm not the developer.
I got a max legendary my first day, guys. I'm so lucky.
So,
like, bro, you are the owner of the game.
So I don't know how people feel about that. So
I think people will like it, honestly. I mean, I think people will like it. I think it will definitely be different in terms of the relationship that you have right now with Raid and whatever on your channel. But I actually think that everybody's going to know. It's not like it's some hidden secret or anything, So I think that if anything else, I mean, if nothing else, it could be a good conduit just to speak to the community, as well.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, minimum, I would be doing still my regular Fateless update videos, which we do on the Fateless YouTube channel. And, that's more about talking about the news, I guess, at that point. This is what's coming. These are some of the events that are coming along, that type of stuff. And then I think on my main channel, I would probably just basically show some of my account and my gameplay. Maybe I would do it free to play or something like that, so it feels more relatable. Or I don't want to just shower myself in. Like right now, I've got this basically like a test account where I can just give myself a whole bunch of stuff. Like that's sure. That's not what I don't think that would be engaging. But but I'm definitely I'm excited for it. I'd imagine I will at least cover it. To what degree, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, hey, we'll be looking forward to that. And I'll have it in the description for you guys. Obviously, the alpha sign-up link. We'll have the YouTube channel for Fateless, so you guys can stay up to date with everything going on. All the feedback. Actually, a day or two ago, I want to say, Simon uploaded him reading some of those survey feedback. So you guys can check that out right now if you're curious. And what I was going to say? The website where you can pre-register for beta as well. So I'll have all that. Did I miss anything, Simon?
No, I think that's it, man. I think cool. I appreciate you having me on to talk about it. Obviously,
it's been fun, man. It's been fun. Yeah, it's been cool to see this much of the game, because I think the last time that we had you on, it was just like one clip of 30 seconds of gameplay. So it's been cool to take a look at these characters and the natural development and progression of the game. So congratulations to you and the entire team, man. I can't wait to dig in, and maybe I'll play in the third alpha with like the player base of my viewers here who sign up along with me. So it'll be fun to check out, and good luck to you and the entire team, man.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Go ahead and check out those links in the description below. Thanks to Simon for coming on. You can check out his main YouTube channel as well. That will be linked if you're not aware. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care, guys.